All right, everyone, Count Dankula has been found guilty of being grossly offensive online. Now, over here in the United States, if you're offensive, the worst that can happen to you is maybe someone attacks your job and tries to get you fired, you know, which is stupid, but they actually do this. They have vigilante-style mobs that do this constantly. It doesn't matter if they're on the left. People on the right have done the same thing. Don't let them fool you. You might get that, or you might be like banned off of YouTube or Twitter or something, but you don't get thrown in jail for it. Now, for those of you who don't realize who Count Dankula is, he's in the UK and he's sort of comedy-minded, and he taught his pug when he said Hitler or certain other things. His pug would lift its paw up like it was giving a salute, a Nazi salute. This was found grossly offensive. Now, his explanation is, hey, this was never meant to be made public. Dude, I did this to bother my girlfriend. It was an inside joke. I don't hate Jews. You know, I'm not actually Hitler or anything. You know, you need to leave me alone. This is sort of something to piss her off. Which makes sense, considering the past of his content. He's known for weed smoking and shit like that. Nobody cares that he does that. I think is against British law or whatever. But it's a big problem if he trains his dog the wrong way. So he's guilty of wrongthink. So now he has to go to a re-education camp. Now, thankfully for him, the maximum re-education camp gulag sentence a la Stalin is 2 months or less. He probably won't even be in for 2 months. They'll probably give him like a week in there and say, okay, we've made our point. But the point that I would make is this. This is bullshit, and you know it's bullshit. You know it's bullcrap. The UK is supposed to be part of the civilized free world, and people can't even teach their dog how to do a funny trick in order to piss off their girlfriend. Yeah, that sounds really westernized to me. No, you sound like the Soviet Union, actually. You sound a little bit like fucking Stalinism. Like, people criticize Sadiq Khan. Sadiq Khan's elected. It's a microcosm of the same problem. He gets elected, and I point out, hey, it's funny, a religious zealot gets elected, and everyone on the left, a bunch of hardline atheists are celebrating in order to cover up the fact that they actually find something wrong with it. And they're like, well, he's got problems, he's not a zealot. You know, what's one of the first things he does? Cover up the swimsuit ads on the side of the buses there in the UK and London stand. Why do you think he did that? Was it actually to help women with their body image, or was it because of his religious beliefs? Oh, it was the latter, absolutely. You know, he's just smart enough. He's smart, so he realizes it's not a good idea to tell people that. He can keep all those commies, so-called, and socialists, so-called, and anarchists, so-called, and liberals, so-called, on his side, so long as he pretends to be playing the same stupid games that they are. Meanwhile, Count Dankula does something that harms nobody. I never heard the ADL didn't come out and call for him to be jailed. The SPLC didn't want him jailed. The Jewish Council of UK Relations didn't call for him to be jailed. Nobody cared. The UK's government made it an issue. A bunch of people that didn't like him made it an issue, fronted it to the UK's government, and they decided to censor him. Oi, you can't just be speaking freely over here in the islands, the rainy islands. You know, comedy is banned in the UK. I'm not surprised. You haven't made any good comedy since the Monty Python days. So keep that in mind. And trust me, it hurts. The UK's population is deeply hurt if you say something like that. I pointed that out earlier. I had a bunch of people in the UK. No, England is known for its comedy. Yeah, 20, 30 years ago, when I was a kid. Okay, yeah, you had great stuff then. Where's it lately? What's your comedy now? I don't see any. No, I see a bunch of people who hold their farts in because they're so fucking legalistic. No, by the way, Khan and all these other morons over there in the UK are calling for US tech firms to bind themselves to Euro law. No, they should do the opposite. They should blatantly flaunt your laws in your own face and force you to ban sites like YouTube and Twitter so that you have to make your own English alternatives that will go nowhere, and people will call for your government to be removed eventually because they're stymieing human communication. That's what we should do. We should assert hegemony here in the United States, but we don't have enough politicians with enough balls to do it, even though we should. But Dankula, as far as I'm concerned, he's innocent of any wrongdoing. What did he do wrong? Dude, if I did that over here in the United States, I wouldn't get arrested. This is the same situation as, you go to like Pakistan or Saudi Arabia or something, you blaspheme. You can get your head chopped off, you can get shot, you can get like thrown in a gulag for a while. And someone in England probably would look at that and say, well, that doesn't make a lot of sense. Like, fucking who cares? It's not hurting anyone, it just happens to be this is an atheist. In fact, it's a violation of their human rights to punish them for being an atheist. Okay, it's a violation of Dankula's human rights to take what was originally meant to be a private video in order to piss off his girlfriend, make it public for the political purpose of ruining his life. It doesn't make any sense. And by the way, you're not even accomplishing a goal. You've just made him 10 times more popular. If you think Dankula's a bad person because he has wrongthink, under your 1984 dystopian bullshit, he has wrongthink opinions, you've just made him more popular. You've taken people who, for political reasons, wouldn't even care about him. I never even heard of Count Dankula. I know he makes commentary. He has a YouTube channel and stuff. I'd never even heard of Count Dankula until you suggested he should be thrown in prison for teaching his dog a trick. That's so stupid, dude. So I say hashtag free Dankula, absolutely. Just as I would stand for any other content creator who's being tyrannized anywhere in the world. Look, if you had like a Saudi Arabian YouTuber says a wrong thing about Islam, gets, their hand chopped off and thrown in a prison cell, I'd stand by them too. It wouldn't make any, you'd stand by them as well on the left. You'd say, well, it's barbaric. It's crazy that people would still do that. People should have a right to determine their religious course. Okay, shouldn't they have a right to satirize, to comedy? We're not even talking about a genuine political opinion here. I think people should be able to have whatever political and social opinions they want. They should be able to speak freely. It helps achieve catharsis. It helps prevent violence. Your idea of a polite society is a society in which people have repressed themselves to such a point that they're ready to blow at any given time. Trust me, it's not going to be pretty when they do. I believe in that, but even beyond that, what about comedy and satire in general? You're saying that, like, the UK's government is going to ban all US comedy because it's too edgy for you. You're a bunch of children. You are slaves. You're not allowed to hear these opinions, just like you're not allowed to defend yourselves because you're cops who will run away if someone brandishes a butter knife. They'll protect you. What are you thinking, dude? Like, are we going to have to come over there and save you again, this time from your own government? Last time I was like, okay, we'll come over and save you from these Germans. We'll save you from these Germans again. Now Merkel has successfully infected you with her politically correct multi-culti bullshit virus. And now you've actually come to accept it as reality. It's so sad. It's so sad to see. It's like how far the mighty have fallen. You used to have an empire. You're like, oh yeah, we control a fifth of the world. Then you got a guilty conscience about it, and then you decided to destroy yourselves in the process. You're like, oh, we did so much bad, we can't even exist as a culture anymore. What a bunch of goofballs. Government's a bunch of goofballs. The Queen is a goofball. Hopefully she dies in her sleep soon. Along with all the other inbred royals over there, by the way. They're not even English. You do realize that. From some other part of the world. Yeah. Come on. I don't understand it. I don't understand how any culture, any group of people, there's millions of you, you're not even willing to protest. I never see it. Like, you protest after a soccer game goes the wrong way. You protest back in the poll tax day. You protested for that. That's the last time I saw anything meaningful. Other than like these G whatever summits, and then Black Bloc shows up to throw piss bottles at the police. It's pretty sad when a bunch of anarcho-communists are the only ones who actually will get a little bit fiery when it comes to saying, hey, there's something that's being done that we don't agree with, so we're going to resist it. Hey, the only ones that do, and they're a bunch of miscreants. What does that say about lamestream culture over there in Europe? Then the UK says, well, we'll have a Brexit. Things will be magically better. No, not with the government you've got now. Now, things will probably be worse. The EU will probably be better off than you at this point. Looking at this is crazy talk. And he's a fellow YouTuber, first and foremost. One that's funny. Again, that I wouldn't be making this video. I wouldn't give a fuck about this individual if it weren't for the fact that people were trying to abuse him for speaking freely. It's not even legit speech. It's not like, oh, hey, this is my opinion, and then someone gets offended by it. No, this is like, hey, this is a joke I taught my dog. It's pretty funny. And people are still jumping down his throat. There'll be people, a bunch of jackboot-licking apologists who will say that it's okay because he was being offensive. Oh, how far you have fallen. Oh, it's going to be wonderful to see you on the train cars, because that's where you're going to be going. Your culture is going to denigrate into that state. It's going to happen. And the US will probably have to get involved and kill a bunch of people again. It's going to be bullshit. Absolutely stupid. That's about all. Peace out.